What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking a little bit about our SuperATV radius arms, what to look for when they're worn out, and how to service them. So this machine here has quite a few miles on it. We've been riding it forever with these radius arms. As you can tell, they got some movement. Now that's fine, but what's happening inside of here, there's a monoball. It's getting worn out. Now, ours might not be as worn out as yours are, but what you can do is you can grab your tire and move it side to side with your machine up. You can take them apart and look. A lot of times it'll start to wear out inside of there. And then also our heim joints out here. Now these are both standard wear products. Obviously, a heim joint will wear out over time. Like I said, this thing has a ton of miles, as well as our inner bushings and monoballs. The first thing we're gonna do is obviously go ahead and remove our wheel and tire. We're just gonna show you on one radius arm here today. If you can do one, you can do all of them. So we're gonna take an 18mm socket, 18mm wrench. We're gonna go ahead and loosen this bolt up here and get ready to remove it. So one thing I see a lot of people do, just being around this kind of stuff, people will take their impact and they'll wanna run this bolt out instead of taking the pressure off of it. That's never a good idea. You're gonna waller out the knuckle here, potentially damage the threads, tear the bushing up. It's just a horrible idea to do that. Whenever you go to remove any kind of hardware, if there's a bunch of tension on it, what you wanna do, just like this for instance, we're gonna pick up and look, that bolt's free. But look, whenever it's not, it's hard to get out. So we'll just pick up just a little bit. You don't have to pick up too much. That bolt comes right out nice and easy. There was no struggle there. We don't have to use our impact. We're not tearing anything up. We're gonna go ahead and remove this bolt that's securing our radius arm to the frame. We'll just take an 18mm wrench, slide it in through here. Sometimes these can be a little bit tricky to get on, but I just use the open end of the wrench, just get it on the nut, hold on to it. And we'll just take our socket and ratchet, impact, whatever tools you're using today, and just go ahead and remove the nut. And just another tip, I don't like to remove the nut all the way with the impact because then it drops down underneath the transmission. If you've worked on one of these things before, you know if a nut gets underneath there, it's a pain to get out. So I like to take my hand, just reach in here, and just go ahead and unthread it the rest of the way by hand. That way I know it's in my hand, I'm not gonna lose it. Makes it so much easier. So there we go. And we can just go ahead and remove our bolt completely. Go ahead and put our nut back on the bolt. Another good little tip there so you don't lose your hardware. We'll just pull a little bit of slack out of our brake line. We can flip our radius arm right underneath of it a lot of times. Just like that. And then obviously we got it pinched in between here, so we'll probably have to loosen one of our other radius arms, but if you were going to be changing them, you obviously would be changing all four of them at once. So at this point, you'd want to go ahead and remove all four of your bolts. So we have a radius arm removed. So as you can see, there's a lot of side-to-side movement, and this is not bushing movement, this is monoball. So this will cause a lot of noise, a lot of clanking, a lot of clacking. And they're supposed to have a little bit of play from whenever you get them from us, if you order them brand new. But as you can see, if you look down in here, it kind of wears a groove. Just over time, gets a lot of dirt and debris in there. So what that does, it causes the clank, and then obviously over time, it can damage itself to the point to where it'll mess with the camber and things of that nature. So it's just another thing you want to keep an eye on. And here's your bushings. They got quite a bit of wear just from that monoball, starting to wear out a little bit. You can see they're wearing out in here, as well as right here. So we'll set these aside real quick. We'll talk about heim joints. So whenever I go to check a heim, I'm looking for any kind of play, whether it's side to side, up and down. And this heim, it's fairly tight, but if you listen to it, you can tell it's definitely starting to get worn out, and that is gonna make quite a bit of noise. So instead of just changing the bushings on the heim, a lot of times, if you've got 2,000 miles on a set of radius arms, I would go ahead and I would change the monoball, which is in here, which we're gonna be showing you how to change it, your bushings, and then go ahead and put a whole new heim joint on it. So we're gonna reach down through here, and it's probably hard for you all to see because of all the dust and dirt in here, but there is a snap ring. We're just gonna take our snap ring pliers, press the snap ring and then remove it. And as you can see here, this is the side that we need to press from. So if you were gonna go and change your Heim, what you'd wanna do is take a measurement from the center of this hole, so you can throw your bushing in there. Just know the center of that hole to the center of this hole right here. So that way you have a measurement. If your camber was set correctly, then you know this measurement's gonna be correct. And then you would just take this jam nut loose, thread your Heim joint out, thread your new one in, set your adjustment to your previously marked down measurement. So let's head on over here to the press. So we found something that we can press through here. Just one of our press tools that we use for ball joints. And then we found a socket. For this specific socket, it's a 15, just an old socket we have. We're gonna press this bushing straight through. So we're gonna go ahead and start pressing it down here. So this right here is what's inside of your radius arm. As you can see, we got it pressed out. So the next step, obviously anytime you're changing a bearing, a bushing, monoball, anything, is to get this radius arm as clean as we can possibly get it. So we're gonna get some brake cleaner, get in here and just look at that. You know, that's what's wearing that monoball out. I know it's pretty hard to get in here to get this cleaned up. You know, the best thing to do is just, you know, make sure that you're spraying it off, you know, trying to get it clean, use some brake cleaner. You know, maybe even every once in a while take your radius arms off, take your bushings out, use an air blower, blow the dust out, and, you know, put some lubricant in there just to make sure it's lubricated all the time. So like I said, we're gonna get in here and we're gonna get this nastiness cleaned out. Whether it's monoballs, bushings, or Heim joints, you can pick up everything you need to rebuild your radius arms at SuperATV.com. So we've went ahead and we've got ourselves a new monoball here. Obviously there's two sides to this radius arm. There's a side that has a lip, and there's a side that has the groove for the snap ring. The side that has the groove for the snap ring is the side that we're gonna press our monoball into. So obviously when you're pressing your monoball out, you know, it doesn't much matter if you damage it, but whenever you gotta reinstall it, you want to find something that sits on the outer edge of the monoball perfectly. So we have a 22mm socket. We're going to go ahead and use that to press this in. So as you can see, we've got our monoball pressed in all the way, and we have our snap ring groove visible. We'll go ahead and grab our snap ring, get it set down in the groove, just like that. And now everything's good and clean. It's never a bad idea just to take a little bit of grease and kind of put in here, you know, roll the monoball around and just kind of put a real thin coat of grease, you know, just continue rolling it just like that. And flip it around, do the opposite side, you know, and then just really get it good and clean and put a little bit of grease in there. And then obviously over here with the Heim, you know, you don't need to grease it just yet. You would just want to reinstall it. Repeat all these steps for the rest of your radius arms and you're ready to get them reinstalled onto your machine. If your Heim joints begin to get squeaky after riding, be sure to clean, then lubricate them. So once you've got your radius arms serviced, you're ready to get back on the trail. For more information or any questions you have on servicing your radius arms, be sure to get a hold of us. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.